We did a gig. This is when I was playing with more with Chewy. You guys play with Chewy?
El chaparrito.
Yeah.
Que se sabe, ese vato se sabe todas las pinches canciones.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Cabrón.
Yeah.
Shit loaded.
Repertorio from
Yeah.
hasta el tope.
We were doing a gig. Well, I was helping him out the whole day,
Uh-huh.
and he's funny. We finished the gig and we had a little bit of a break,
Uh-huh.
and it was like in a ballroom, and it was like a quinceañera. So as soon as we finished, he just goes straight to the kitchen and gets food.
No
And
mames.
then you wait for them to offer.
He doesn't, dude.
He just goes.
It's crazy.
I was like, okay.
After the first song, he's like, and where's my beer?
Like Steve.
Raza.
So this is episode 5, season 2 of Los Mariachi Sagas. We have our next guest. Second guest of the season, Mr. Julian Gamez. Right?
Gamez Arizola, yeah.
And
Not Arizola.
No. Or I've heard Arizola.
Arizola.
Games.
Game.
Games.
That's the funny one. Ah, sí, okay. Yeah, Games, está bueno. Julian.
Jules.
Jules. My mom calls me Jules when she's mad.
Oh, really? Oh, shit.
See, if you hear Jules, cabrón, run. Hide under the bed.
People would call me Anda Green.
Under green.
I remember that one.
That was a really big thing. Anda Green or Go Green. An episode. So
Yeah.
this is the first time that Julian and I ever meet.
Wait, he was telling me about it. He was telling me about it que ya habíamos tocado.
Yeah.
Pero yo no me acuerdo.
Like 4 times.
No mames. ¿Con quién?
Okay, well first, I played with Julian, what was it, like 3 weeks ago?
Yes. Sí, sí. Con
Like 3 weeks ago, and
compadres.
Julian's like, hi, I'm Julian. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I know. I'm like, oh, cool, Alexis. And we met for the first time in 2016 when you're still with Julian and I
Órale.
went to the rehearsal.
You did?
Yeah.
Órale.
And you're a vihuela player. I had my guitar at that time.
Uh-huh.
And so that was the first time we met.
Órale.
But I didn't stay with the group.
Yeah.
That was the fall of 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't remember.
Rogelio.
My whole time there was everything was happening so fast que no me acuerdo.
It was a blur.
Yeah.
And the next time I saw you at Azul Tequila. This was maybe a year or 2 later.
Uh-huh.
You're helping out for Relampago. And then we stayed there talking. It was you, me, Alex, and Adolf.
Was I drunk?
Maybe. You're forgetting some words.
Entonces si andaba pedo ya es el mind eraser.
Uh-oh. Wake up.
And then there was, damn, I remember the other time. I can't remember the other time. There's another time that we were at the same place.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, most recently we played.
Yeah.
And now.
And now?
And today.
And today marks the 5. Episode 5. I see the synchronicity going on. I see it.
So this is exclusive for everybody watching. This is the first time we meet in person.
I managed to wear the same color. Huh?
Oh. ¿Cuál
What kind
color? No, pues es que esto dice Pilet.
Yeah, look at Julian's shirt.
For those of you watching, peel it.
For you non-San Antonio people or mariachis over the age of like 25, that means just fuck it.
I had to explain that to my tia.
Oh, no.
Because she's always commenting on my posts.
¿Cómo que pile?
Mijo, ¿de qué están hablando? All of your friends are telling you to peel it, and you're telling them to peel it too.
Dude, I remember the first time you told me that, it was through text. We did a gig with Leo.
Yeah, yeah.
And what was it for the Los Reyes?
Sí, el Niño Dios, Los Reyes Magos.
And I guess church songs in general, I'm not very knowledgeable. And
why is that? Is it because you
been a while.
You worship Satan?
Still out
No, just kidding. Can I edit that out?
It's because I peel it in general.
Shut up, stupid.
No, I was struggling like gacho, dude, and Leo was like looking at me like, "The fuck are you doing?" And then Julian just sent me a text. He was like, "What did you say?" You said, "Enjoy the peeling." Period. He didn't even.
The first time I heard that was Joe Frank.
From Joe Frank. Yeah, he used to say that a lot. Freaking Joe Frank.
But
Good times.
Let's get into our guest. Now, so you're from originally? Is it Laredo?
Laredo,
Texas.
Mm-hmm. Born and raised.
How old were you when you started in music?
I was tricked into playing guitar. I was tricked. They needed the señora that was doing the mass at my church, Holy Redeemer Church. She had passed. Entonces, so there was one señora that she was doing all the masses. But my tia was really involved, and my grandma was really involved. De hecho, I was an altar server a lot.
Oh, okay.
Nothing bad ever happened to me, so you're gonna make your jokes. Nothing bad happened. So then me and my tia Elsa, we started going to a señor Agustin Gamez in Laredo, and he was a guitar player in San Luis Rey Church. Pero él se sabía, he's like a mariachi, like a Chewy, pero puro adoración, like all the church music you can think of. Y se la sabe, se la sabía. El señor ya falleció. He knew them all by memory. He didn't take a stand, so he was like a charro, pero for religious music. Y así empezó. It was like a little competition between me and my tia to see who could do better. Y luego started band and started playing in the mariachi at school. It was an after school thing, so there were flutes in the group. I didn't even know what a violin was until I saw Vargas in concert like 94, 95, por ahí. I was like, cabrón, that's a violin. Why do we have flutes?
So it was just all flutes?
It was flutes for the violin section.
Dang.
Y los trumpets pesados.
What school was that?
Martin High School.
Martin? Oh, okay.
So wait, you started in church?
I started in church.
Like 90% of our guests started in church.
Started in church, yeah.
See that a lot. People have pointed that out.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
It's just how it goes a lot.
Yeah.
But what year did you graduate from school?
2001. God. The way to age me, vato.
So you're like 50.
No, 63. Ya estoy listo para el retirement.
2001. I was 4 years old at 2001.
Ay, cabrón.
I was 5.
Yeah, we can move on from this question.
I was like,
yeah.
Great. You have Martin High School. They now the mariachi program. Well, now mariachi programs in Laredo are a lot better
Mm-hmm.
than they were, before. So, did you, I guess, get really good at this time and you started doing gigs?
I was like my junior year in high school. That's when I started playing, ironically enough, with a group named Mariachi Sagas, and they were the typical mariachi that you would find in that you find in Mexico. All family. They were all family. So los concuños, las concuñas de los hermanos y hermanas, they were in the group also tocando. So the family was always together. It was me and one or two other guys that were not family that we were in the group. Entonces, that was a beautiful experience. Así, yo pensé que mariachi was always like that. La familia. You would go, and I stayed with them for 2.5 years. Y luego I moved to San Marcos. It was a good time con ellos. One of them just recently passed away from, he was my pareja, or I was his pareja. Raúl Cantú, not Raúl, Lalo Cantú, he was the one that got COVID and passed away. A nice man, era el jefe del grupo. Pero, paz descanse.
So you moved to Mexico, like right across the border and all that, or was it deep?
No. Well, Laredo is Laredo. No. So the esa familia Cantú, they live in Laredo.
Oh, they live.
Yeah. In fact, they live. Now that I'm thinking about it, they lived like 4 streets down from me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So sometimes I would walk.
Yeah.
Porque mi abuelita dijo, no, tu tía no está aquí, go walking to los Cantús.
And so you learned a lot.
Sí, yeah, a lot.
When you went in there, you knew like nothing?
No, pues I knew what we learned in high school and what my grandma would sing también, because after the church stuff, growing up with my grandma was me and her and my tia and my mom. Pero, my mom and my tia were always out working. My tia was a teacher, my mom was a banker. So it was me and my grandma a lot. So she would always sing when she would cook. So really, honestly, I started getting the guitar around that time, like in middle school. I had already been playing when I was 2-3 years. And I was trying to figure out cómo iba la canción to accompany her. But again, I was tricked into playing guitar. But it was something that we would do all the time. Ya cuando llegué para high school y con Aslan, ya tenía mi repertorio, pero un poquito, like not wow. Pero I could follow. Because when you're a kid, that's all you're doing, music, 24/7.
Yeah. You said you moved to San Marcos. Was that for college? So you went to Texas State?
For a brief moment in time. I didn't want to say this con de Aslan. Before we move on, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
So there was a rancho that we would go out to on Thursdays. Eso es cuando era el convivo de los señores, because those guys were all City of Laredo workers. Y tenían un convivo, and they would always play. So canciones que yo no me sabían esas canciones, but nomás sígame, ya sabes la onda, nomás sígame, yeah, you get it. So it was a lot of that, and that's really donde aprendí. Like, I don't know if I had to give it a number, 25%. But those convivos were fun. Just being a small little kid and being in the same room with the adults and being able to play with them, that was the adrenaline rush. Because even though we were so old, we still shared this one thing. It's like ustedes, I'm older than you guys, but we share this thing called mariachi, like a silent fraternity, ¿verdad? It bridges us together more than anything. So I guess that's the feeling that I wanted to convey.
That's what it's about, man.
Yeah.
And when you're that young, you learn a lot too.
Mm-hmm. Sponge.
Yeah.
Y en San Marcos, I wasn't thinking about leaving Laredo. I was gonna stay. Pero Oscar Garza trumpet, because there's like 50 million Oscar Garza
Yeah.
Festival. Oscar Festival
Yeah.
Pilet. Los dos.
San Antonio.
Sí. He was the one that told me, hey Julian, pues we need a vihuela player. No me acuerdo cómo se llamaba el moreno que estaba tocando vihuela. He was playing vihuela. He was graduating or something. Y de hecho, Pepe Martinez Sr. called him Pele, the Brazilian soccer player. And I started laughing, but everybody around me was like, well, what, I don't get it. What's the joke? I was like, you don't watch soccer, we?
No.
You don't know who Pele is?
No, I don't.
No.
He's like a famous Brazilian soccer player. And he looked like him. Bueno, entonces, pues I auditioned y I was in the School of Music for a little bit. We did a bunch of things. Actually, vato saw a vintage t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's vintage now, but it was new to me.
Mm-hmm.
One of the mariachi shirts from the Feria del Mariachi back in the day. Cabrón.
That's 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was. Estuve ahí, percussion, y luego there's a Vegas show that I auditioned for and that I was a part of in 2004. And we left in May, and then the show ran from mid-June all the way to October. And that was being 21, recién 21, llegando ahí and then being treated como rey, you know, like it was a nice experience. Anthony Medrano was the jefe of that camaraderie, la de Mariachi USA. Two people que yo digo a lo mejor you could interview them. I mean, I know you could, right?
Yeah.
Pero they were the jefes of that show, and they treated us well. It was my first time experiencing lo que the older guys would talk about. De que, hombre, we went to this place y nos trataron a toda madre. And it was a lovely experience playing at the Mariachi USA, at the Hollywood Bowl, and played a bunch of other casinos aside from the casino that we were working in. And it was a great experience. Made good friends out of everybody that we still talk to this day.
And that was said 2004.
2004.
So this time you were basically like full-time musician.
Yeah, I was living in Vegas. Yeah.
What group was that?
The show se llamaba Mariachi Passionate Tradition.
I think I've heard Alex tell that story or about that.
¿Cuál Alex?
Ramirez. Big
yeah.
Alex.
Yeah, Big Alex.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I talked about that years ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then
It was a
so
long time ago.
2004.
God, it's gonna be almost 20 years for that.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah, that's not that long ago.
No pasa nada.
You're good. You're still 15.
Yeah, well, in my head I'm 15, but outside of my head it says, 60s.
60s. Somewhere in between. Matt, how old do you think Julian looks like?
Right now he looks about 20, 28. I'm gonna say
Yeah,
28.
bro.
He's a good
Yeah,
28.
yeah, bro. Take me out to dinner, my
Wait.
boss.
You still look young, man.
Oh,
You look
thanks,
good.
bro. Thanks, bro.
I remember the first time I saw Julian. Well, one of the first times. It's just multiple. The very
Multiple
first
one night stands.
Yeah. I don't know what you call that. You hook up with somebody.
You call it who's that?
Hey, nice to meet you. Let's do it again.
You call that? I don't even know her. When I first saw you in a salon,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this guy's either young or older. Like you could go both ways. And I was like, I can't tell.
We're talking about age, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just sorry that it's a little lewd. That's the youngness in me there. Okay, you know, jokes. But then again, growing up, yes, we were a church-going family, pero we're like, no te podías descuidar. You know, I grew up with my grandma and my tías, pero no te podías descuidar because los chistes venían, you know. So, I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, that kind of family met. You don't really have. Well, I mean, your grandpa feels kind of like that. Right?
Yeah.
You just start making fun of people.
Yeah, there are times where he'll not making fun of really, but you know, just he always likes to have a good time. So, I think that's what it's all about, man. I mean, if you're, I mean, you can't take things too serious. I guess I should say that.
So, what made you think that I was really young or older? What was the impression that you got? Or why did you come to that conclusion, I should say?
It was either like you purposely shaved your head or you're going bald.
Bro, at that time, that school year, I was trying to save it. And there's a picture of me donde está Aida Cuevas y luego está Angel y luego estoy yo. Pero se mira que estoy bald, pero no estaba bald. I had a fade, entre comillas. But I didn't have I wasn't shaved. Pero con los stage lights, pues, you could see what's going on in my brain.
I think
in rehearsal there'll be like the lights shining off your head. You're like, you need to move over here.
Wait, what's that other spotlight on stage that's illuminating from the
I
stage?
was like,
Con sunglasses.
no, I mean I think that's better. You know, if it's going,
Yeah.
might as well. Just,
Yeah, I always saw dudes here in Austin, los you know the old white dudes, los boomers, que siempre son los guys que tienen este side.
Yeah.
Y el comb over.
Yeah.
Dije, oye, bro, pues just
take it off.
Take it off, yeah.
it's too much.
It's too late.
But so when you were here though in like 2001, you knew Adolf.
I knew Adolf when I got to Texas State.
Texas State, yeah.
Oscar Garza Trumpet, not festival. Carlos Maldonado, Frank.
Whoa, died.
Shouldn't have taken this off. What is that? It's a microphone. Oh, shotgun microphone that you put on cameras.
Oh, dang. Chose the wrong time to take it off.
I took it off. I was like, I don't need it. I got this.
Ni modo. Así pasa cuando sucede.
Yeah, but let's get back to
Wait, what is that?
We were.
I'm still learning.
That's
sorry,
what
sorry.
happens when it happens.
Oh, okay.
Peel it.
Peel
Peel
it.
it.
Essentially, that's what the board said. I'm gonna peel it right now.
Imagine if they had that in a book. Dude. Sorry, I was
Urban Dictionary.
This is your.
Yeah, wait, it needs to be on Urban Dictionary.
Hell yeah.
Y'all need to make it happen.
And it has your picture in there like, with your shirt.
It has my
The
picture
creator
like
of. Yeah. The creator of
You're
Peel
getting pulled over.
Oh, hey. Dang.
what were you doing, sir? Pues I was peeling it.
Oh, okay,
pasa
okay.
nada, right?
I'm gonna let you slide.
I got you.
Texas State, right?
Yeah.
Estamos?
It's about Adolf and
So
Oscar.
when I got to Texas State, I already knew Oscar because Oscar Trumpet was in. He was at the same high school in Laredo that I was.
And Martin.
So at Martin. So I knew him since I was in 8th grade, whatever age you are in 8th grade.
Yeah, I always forget too. I don't know.
Yeah, I always forget the
Like
ages.
13 maybe? Or?
13,
8th
14.
grade, you're 13 going to 14.
Yeah. So I've known him since then, since
Yeah.
my 8th grade year.
Was he the same since 8th grade?
No,
Like his
hombre,
dad?
bro.
He was a shy little kid.
No. He was always a hard worker.
Oh, okay.
Back then, he should have gone to the other high school that was closer to him, which was Nixon, which is the rivalry to my high school, Martin. But he was literally 2 blocks away from that high school.
Okay.
Pero él quería ir a Martin because Martin has, the history of being the oldest high school in Laredo.
Oh,
Nixon was, I think it was made in the 70s, and there was a big bronca between students who were at Martin, but eventually went to Nixon. Anyway, this guy would walk only for Austin listeners, I would say this guy would walk from somewhere, el HEB que está in William Cannon is South First. I think there's one there. Okay, no, ¿sabes qué? 35 HEB, 35 HEB, caminando to the Onion Creek Parkway, that overpass. He would walk that every day to go to high school because Laredo is small, right?
Would walk? Not even
Would
like take a
walk,
bike?
bro. No way. He would walk. He would walk. Marching band empezaba a las 7, and he did this for his whole high school career.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, so that's why now he's always like, I don't want to do nothing.
Exactly.
We're not saying he's not a hard worker now, but
Nah, but he put in his time back in the day.
yeah.
And he was always nice to me. My tía, en paz descanse, my tía Elsa. When she found out that he was walking, pues, we would give him rides back to his house in the afternoons after band.
Wow.
Yes, bien involucrado con mi familia, Oscar.
You almost moved in with Oscar
I almost
a
did.
couple years ago when I was living there.
Yeah, I almost did. Pero luego I moved in with my compadre. Yeah.
Yeah, he had mentioned, he's like, hey, Julian might move in the room there. There's a room that was empty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cool. And then you just never did.
No, pues he said he never got back to me.
No.
So if you're listening, Oscar, feel it.
No, he told you Pili.
I'm like, hey, wait, can I move in?
Pili.
Feel it, bitch.
Feel it, bro.
He's like, nah, I'm making too much money.
I'm the landlord from Harris. El Jared Kushner, their Buda.
It was a nice house. It was a nice house.
I guess that political joke went over everybody's head.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude.
It's okay. I'm not gonna explain it because then it won't be funny. But
I can't get into politics, man. You know how it is.
Yeah, I know. Just
This is you can say whatever you want on the show, but
That's
also
true.
you can't say whatever you want on the show.
It's also very true.
Just
the,
like
the lawyers are gonna double check this before it goes up.
Big
right?
Brother's watching, bro.
oh, you know that
Watching.
reference. How do you know that reference?
What do you mean?
Did you read the book?
Yeah.
What book?
Was it 1984?
Eso.
Damn.
I'm a good reader, man. I'm a good reader, except when it comes to school.
That's a,
So you read it
Yeah.
for fun? Or?
bro,
No,
that-
I had to read it. I had to read it. It's good.
that book is good.
It's a good book. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites. But I had fun reading that one.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's true though. Big Brother is watching.
Yeah. Elon Musk is his big brother now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
Actually, he was my big brother. Oscar was my big brother in Phi Mu Alpha.
Oh yeah. It's
Okay, you were a frat.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, hombre, it's not a frat. Frat.
It's a music.
Lo que estaba Sammy y Robert, eso es un frat.
frat.
Nosotros era, hey, let's listen to music. Let's listen to what we're studying. Hey, wait, I don't want to listen to that shit.
Was that one co-ed?
No, era puro guys. It's
okay.
still all guys. I'm assuming. I mean,
I would see people being chased around with a paddle. Why?
Yeah.
Bueno, my class was the last class to get hazed. Like, gacho.
Really?
I don't, si estaban haciendo hazing, they shouldn't have been hazing. Pero, my class, I don't even remember what it was called. PM class, probationary member class, was the last one to get, like, official haze.
Why did they?
Somebody cried.
I'm just saying because like you're saying it's the
hazing was all like free reign.
Yeah.
Even in high school, like with the band and the mariachi.
Yeah.
It's
very different. And the past couple of years, they even banned like fraternity and sororities at Texas State from meeting up for a while.
That's right.
But that's because someone died from like alcohol poisoning or something.
Mm-hmm,
in Texas State.
Yeah, somebody was found dead under like a bus or something like that.
Yeah,
because
they
because
stopped
of that.
all of them for a while.
Yeah.
A la madre, I didn't even know that. I thought that happened in somewhere in Alabama. You know those schools over in that part of the country. You know, sabía.
No, it happened here. That's all these kids come in thinking Texas State is a huge party school, so they try living up to it. You
can make any school a party school.
Yeah,
which isn't even true. And by the way,
you could make St. Edward's a party school.
Yeah.
Well, it probably is.
I'm gonna stop right there. Because
ACC is a party school.
In high school, we would do kind of like hazing always the new freshmen in the varsity group.
Yeah.
It was just a really messed up joke. I don't think I've ever said this on the podcast, but there was this trumpet player who was a senior, or he was always like, a couple grades ahead of everybody. And 1 year there was this freshman. Well, we did it to a number of freshmen, and we told the freshman, hey, go and ask the trumpet player how his brother runs. And
oh no.
And the guy's like, okay.
I already know where it's going.
And then the guy goes to the trumpet player, and then he asks him, hey, man, how's your brother run? And the trumpet player just gets really quiet. Serious looks at him. It's like, dude, that's fucked up. My brother doesn't have any legs.
Bro. Damn, dude, what?
And that's the valley. That's the border town.
Yeah,
it always make the freshmen feel so bad.
It's crazy, man. We never hazed anybody. Ask Josh, man. He was a freshman when I was a senior, man.
Yeah.
We're always.
Well, I mean, you couldn't really haze him though.
Why?
He was already 6'4".
Oh, that's true, man.
And you're over here 5'3".
I'm all like, I'll go up to him and look at me.
Hey, how's the weather up there, Josh?
He'll just fucking pick me up. Yeah, he was tall already when he came in high school.
There's a picture. I guess you were already. I don't know. Jasmine was already. His little sister was in the mariachi already.
Oh, okay.
She was a freshman, so he was a senior. He was a junior. And they went to. Layman went to Festiva, and they were wearing I think they were wearing those great trajes that they have.
Oh yeah.
For the first time, or maybe it was the first year. No me acuerdo.
My brother was a part of that group. They got great trajes for the first time.
And they tocaron bien. Tocaron chingón.
Yeah.
Not because they were, yes, because son mis sobrinos, right? Pero, not, I mean, it is what it is, ¿verdad? Pero se oían bien, es lo que digo. Not just because they were there. Yeah. And I just remember being so happy to see them in a traje de charro. Because, I mean, los ves chiquitos. I mean, you guys, I guess if I knew you when you were like a little kid, es un orgullo, seeing somebody que cuidabas and then seeing them do the same thing you do. Like, I remember I cried. In the picture that I have, I was crying. because I was completely proud of them.
Yeah.
I mean, even to this day, I cried. When Josh's first UT Texas State mariachi concert, estaba llorando como un niño.
Yeah.
His mom is like, I'm not even crying, Julian. Shut up. Digo, comadre, it's because it's beautiful, you know. It's circling back to that, the fact that, you know, being able to share it with family, ¿verdad? It's much more. I'm sorry, I'm going in and out. It's much more special to see that and to be able to show your love with it, you know.
Yeah.
There's not. I mean, como tú, me imagino que, you know, you do your thing with your dad. That's kind of like your aside that you're working, right, earning money, pero it's the bond, you know.
Yeah.
And it's all about
somewhat
was bonding, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
And pues mariachis is just an avenue for bonding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels somewhat like even though we're all not like related, it feels somewhat like related, you know. Like we're it's kind of like its own little community, family type thing. It's pretty cool.
Secret fraternity.
Secret fraternity, yeah. So that's the word.
No hazing.
No hazing.
Mi madres, that's what marro is, güey.
Sometimes.
There's always hazing.
Yeah.
If we could, we'd all say quiere llorar, quiere llorar.
First time I heard that was in
started crying
when Luis joined M&G. I didn't.
Oh.
He started a lot of shit, man. Those Laredo guys are crazy, man. But
so, I just want to say this: you've had this podcast is sponsored by Laredo, okay?
Pretty much, bro.
There's a lot of Laredoans on here.
A lot of Laredoans.
I saw the list. Y era Luis, y Noel.
Well, that's how it was. That's how it was when we entered M&G. Like half the group was like from Laredo when we got to Tech State, and I'm like, wow, dude. A lot of people I know is from Laredo. Even my girlfriend's from Laredo, dude. Like,
you're welcome.
I feel like I'm from there.
You're welcome, way.
Thanks, man.
You got lucky, man.
Fun times. Yeah. Yeah, man, I did. Like that, man.
Laredo is and you know, ironically, I've never been to Laredo.
No,
never, not once.
It's different from when I was a kid.
Really?
Pero it's still very much a tight community. Because growing up, mis tíos y mis tías and primos and primas, you would just say the last name. Oh, mi abuelita, queen of this. Oh, esa familia vive por allá. And then I would ask my friends, hey, wait, do you live on this street? See, wait, how did you know? Chinga, my grandma. Pero that's like the type of community that it was. Ahorita, pues it's all big and huge. Ya no es así, you know, the way it used to be. But it was nice. It was nice.
I get that vibe, but I feel like it's very isolated too, right? Like it's literally nothing around, well, except Mexico. But
quick story de eso. So while in the 60s and the 70s when the Chicano movement was happening, right? You in the valley, there were people there were people protesting the Magic Valley, as they call it. The grapefruits, that's in Rio Grande, and then in Far there was another one. Ya ni me acuerdo cómo, but Elsa, the walkouts, Crystal City, the walkouts. So you have all these cities rebelling against the gringos, right? And in Laredo, ni madres. None of that was happening.
Yeah.
Because everybody, the people in charge, the gringos, they knew like, hey, don't mess with these people. There was a mayor, I can't remember the name at right now. I want to say it was Bruni, but I know it's not Bruni. There's a mayor in Laredo. He was trying to make the official language to English.
Oh, okay.
Well, the citizens of Laredo ran him out.
Wow.
They're like, hey, it has to be English and Spanish.
It
can't just be English. Then the people won't understand. So Laredo's very isolated. Has a little bit of artists, you know, that came up. that we're living in the duality of culture, American culture and Mexican culture. Pira Studio, most recently, right? But even farther back in the 60s, 50s, and 60s, there's this group called René y René. And they were singing a lot of the songs that we sing in English and Spanish. Everybody thinks, oh, well, Willie Nelson sang Solamente una vez in English and Spanish. No way, it was René and René they were singing. I have like 2 or 3 LPs de ellos. And every song is in English and Spanish, even Gema. Y te quedas, cabrón, like in English? You know? Somos novios, it's impossible. Ellos lo hicieron. So you have these 2 guys from the barrio Sal Si Puedes, because they lived really close to my barrio, on the edge of my barrio. So they were the ones doing that, pero it's because they had to. If they wanted to make money, querían chambear north, they had to sing in English. So they knew the songs in English and Spanish. Ya llegaban al border, it was all Spanish. Anyway,
That's neat.
that's why Laredo, you say it's isolated, but it's because of things like that. Everybody, some of my mariachi friends that grew up in El Paso or in Corpus Christi, Dallas, Waco, and they're northerners, ¿verdad? Like nosotros somos fronterizos. Like we grew up in a different culture. They're always freaking out, and everybody always like, where were you living? Were you living in Iraq? Like I just learned who Fleetwood Mac was because of the dog face guy. Que estaba drinking el ocean spray.
Yeah.
I just learned who Fleetwood Mac was just a couple of months ago, but
Stevie Nicks, yeah.
Yo no sabía quién era. But it's because, the household that I grew up in. No, I was raised by all women. My great-grandma was in the corner. Entonces, being exposed to American culture was, la madre, like, no.
Yeah.
So, it's isolated in that sense that hardly anything can penetrate that area. Eagle Pass is the same way. Del Rio is the same way. The valley is just this big, homogeneous, region of pura Mexa.
Honestly.
Yeah. The Mexican culture nunca se murió. Anyway, sorry. I just felt like I had to say that.
You're good, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, so having all that, that I guess isolation, moving, how was it for you moving here to
It was
San Marcos?
interesting. I mean, we were making jokes about it before we started, right? Arizola,
Yeah.
Gamez,
Yeah.
Julian.
Jules, yeah.
I had never heard my name like that. Siempre era Julian or como Jules. If my mom was mad at me, cabrón. You don't want to hear that,
Yeah.
Name in English.
Yeah, it's a culture shock,
Uh-huh.
to say the least. Even though, how far are we? Like 200 miles?
Just about.
Just about?
Yeah,
Y
it
como-
was
yeah.
different.
Was it difficult for you, coming from down there, from the valley, and then coming into a different culture up here? What was your experience like?
It was very different because I lived in the valley most of my life. I would go back and forth from Indiana a lot because my parents are migrant workers. And but at about 4, I would stay with my grandma, my sister, and I, and we would go to school in the valley.
So you got to experience the culture change real young.
Yeah, there's a huge, even bigger culture change shock from Indiana to coming here, because Indiana, at least in that part or that time, it was still very segregated. And
This is in the 90s.
yeah, late 90s, early 2000s, and you kind of just stayed with your race, your people.
Yeah.
You didn't.
Let's
really
use
move around.
ethnicity, porque the word race, we're the human race.
True.
Ethnicity it's more in line with,
with today's times.
yeah. Anyway,
But
sorry, bro.
when I came here, When I came here, the biggest thing what that was funny is how in the valley there was already people that I knew that didn't know Spanish or their Spanish wasn't really great. They could understand it, or they knew that so the language or that it's important. When you come here, Hispanic people,
complete separation.
some of them don't know Spanish at all. Some were never taught it, or they just didn't see a value to it. And I mean, just people speak English more over here. And I'm like, and a lot of these people are Hispanic, and their parents are Hispanic. And I like, Matt. Yeah, like Matt.
He's from Mexico City, way.
He's from
I don't even know that part of my family. Well, like,
from Monterrey.
Bro, you're gonna have your job, your homework for me is your family tree, because I'm really intrigued. With everybody's family tree, I'm very interested in knowing,
yeah,
where people are from.
I am too. I just never got around to researching that, I guess, about it. Other than my grandma telling me, "Look at this picture. These are your cousins from Mexico City."
Yeah.
She had blonde hair, blue eyes, dude.
Pues ya estuvieras, bro.
Wait, yeah,
Research it.
yeah.
Anyways. Entonces, so people, the separation, right? It's more predominant here than in the valley.
Yeah, I would run into people, and in the valley, I mean, same way Laredo, people greet you first in Spanish, and it's funny, like sometimes when they'll greet me in Spanish, but I couldn't understand what the hell they said because some people talk funny, and I'm sitting there trying to figure out what they said because I didn't hear it, and then they're like, and they'll say it again in English. I'm like, I'm just trying to figure out what you said. 'Cause
yeah.
you talk funny.
Yeah.
And over here, English. There are some, because I mean we've all done those corporate events.
Yeah.
The weddings where you're just in the background.
Background music, yeah.
And there are people that come up to you and try to talk to you in Spanish when they obviously don't know Spanish.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool. And
Vincent Fernandez.
Vincent Fernandez. That's gonna be on the next episode.
There's a group. You're saying that they're trying to speak Spanish to us. I don't know. Like, there's a jefe of a group that I was in, ¿verdad? El vato no hablaba español, not at all. He would llegaban los clientes, right? And I could clearly see this guy's a Tejano, somebody like my mom's age that knows Spanish, but doesn't know Spanish because my mom's generation, I'm talking about the boomers, the 60s, 55, 57 and above. Esos, at that point, no podías hablar español. You couldn't speak Spanish in school.
Yeah.
My mom went to a Catholic school, so las monjitas would hit her her hand if she would say a Spanish word.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is, the 60s in Laredo, in a border town, right? So there's probably a lot of stigma from them from those ages. So this jefe of this grupo, he was this man from that era was talking to him, clearly was struggling. Pero el jefe también no hablaba español. So I was like, cabrón. I was like, hey, come over here, guys. Come over here. Come pa acá. We're going to watch a TV show. ¿Qué está pasando? What's going on? Y mira. And the most broken Spanish entre los dos. He says, cabrón. This is funny as hell. One of the guys thought, pues I'm going to watch it later because I want to laugh. Estaba videotaping.
Dang, dude.
¿Quién es más mexicano? Is that they were trying to prove to each other who could speak more. I'm sorry, who could speak better Spanish.
It's like me and Adolf trying to do the same thing.
It's funny that Adolf isn't great. It doesn't have great Spanish. But
no, I wasn't talking about Adolf.
Oh no. We didn't think you were.
No, because nah.
We know when you're talking about Adolf.
Hey Adolf, if you're listening, Peel
You get a call right now.
Hey, I heard you.
My ears were ringing. Were you talking about me, Vato?
But
That's funny.
after a couple years, you get used to it, or
Yeah.
you have to
Mm-hmm.
try to fit in with the culture. But there always is, you can tell, I guess, when somebody like Hispanic is from this area,
Mm-hmm.
or when they've moved from somewhere else, especially a border town.
Yeah.
Like, he talk different.
Just the way, just by the way they speak.
Yeah. Like, you're from Kyle, Texas.
From Ka.
Ka-
From Ka, Texas.
I'm from Kyle, cuh.
Kyle Salon.
I saw those tight jeans and cowboy boots. Yeah, this guy is not from the valley.
No.
But when you after you finished the Las Vegas shows,
Mm-hmm.
what did you kind of do after that? Were you just moving around?
I
traveling?
I moved to Dallas and I lived with my mom. I lived with my mom for a year since she moved to Dallas with my stepdad. She gave me the option, ¿te quieres venir conmigo o te quedas con tu abuelita? Con mi abuelita? I'm not going to go with you, dude. Not because I didn't love her, pero es que mi abuelita, it was the best decision I could have made because my grandma passed away in 2003. So after that, and then I got the Vegas show, and then I lived with my mom 2005. And got to know my mom, bien, as an older person. Not mature. I said older. And it was great, living with her and my stepdad and conviviendo, reconnecting, ¿verdad? So at one point we were strangers. So then, after that, I came to Austin and I played with Relampago, con Adolf for many years. To be honest, I don't know if Adolf could if I could call a lifeline right now, I should to ask him. Then I played guitar with him. And we did a lot of shows and it was fun. It was fun.
One thing Adolf has told me about your tenure there in Relampago. One thing he did mention was if he were to choose another Armonia to play alongside, it'd be you. I don't know. He's like Julian would pick things up like that. I mean, he would always want to match me. Monaco for Monaco.
Yeah, dude, I forgot about that.
Yeah. The Armonia master, he'll call you. Yeah.
Bro,
the other master.
Es que I'm remembering now.
Yeah.
Es que like la parejas from Laredo and the parejas from Vegas, el señor Lalo didn't play, pero he would play, the skeleton of it all, the not many redobles.
It's like Genie.
Eugenio.
Yeah.
And then when I played with el compañero Rufino, he, pinche Rufino, like he's really, really good. So la maña de to match every strum for strum salió de él. Porque el vato podía, y todavía toca. He lives in LA. Pero strum for strum, ese vato era el que me dijo, hey, tenemos que estar parejas, we have to be parejas. We can't play you can't play something and I can't play something. It has to be together always. Está bueno. So it was in Vegas, it was intense because of that. Y luego ya cuando regresé, it was back to Texas. I started playing with Adolf, and pues I would see all these things he would do. Dije, pues I'm gonna do them.
Mm-hmm.
And not that he would get frustrated, but he said, God, like he would always make like this face, like, God, how are you able to do that on the guitar? That you shouldn't be able to do that. Apapagones,
Yeah.
But at that time, Adolf's generation, apapagones on the guitar no existían. Like,
okay.
let the vihuela do that. Siempre era la vihuela back then.
Yeah.
At least that was the mentality in Laredo. La vihuela es la que hace todo, nosotros atrás, soportando, just, in the background.
So you really kind of changed his
mind.
mindset.
Yeah, I would say we both changed our mindsets.
Yeah.
Because he was a good pareja.
When did you become Julian el Cancionero?
Was really it was from my grandma. I mean, I know that I'm not saying that I don't know that many songs, but it was I don't era de mi grandma. They were, even though she was singing them when with Adolf, at least I remember, oh, I know that song, pero I had never sang it in my life, pero me la sabía porque my grandma would sing it. It was really, really, honestly, just subliminal, going into my head by osmosis, really, because of hearing her sing. And every time I play, every time I get the guitar, like I always try to remember her. She's a very inspirational woman. My grandma, even though she didn't go to school, she raised 4 daughters on her own, so to me, every time I sing anything, really, it's because I'm remembering her. Sorry to go so deep.
Oh, that's all right, man. I know how you feel. That's really how I feel every time I get into my El Camino, I worked with my grandpa on that car, That was like a bonding time for us too, so I know exactly how you feel. Every time I get in there, man, I think about both my grandparents. So I know the feeling.
But after that, you stuck around Austin for the next few years.
Yeah. After working with Adolf and Eli and Relámpago, I didn't even talk about when I was in Suroeste. That's how I know Steve Urrutia and
Oh yeah.
Frank De Leon, Carlos Maldonado.
Good guys.
Edna Valdez, she played violin.
the little tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard stories about her.
Veronica Ramirez. She was she wasn't Ramirez back then. That's her married name. I don't remember what her maiden name was. And that was fun, working with them too. That was very fun.
They're good guys.
Yeah. I mean, all of it. Frank and Carlos were in Phi Mi Alpha. So aside from having the bond or the bonding thing that we had of mariachi, it was like on another level also with Phi Mi Alpha. So I went with Mariachi Tamazula, which was Bobby Lopez and my new pareja Juan Ortiz, not to be confused with the one from San Antonio. This one didn't have a bigote. This Juan, no, of course nobody caught that one. It's missing right now.
The only one.
That's the 15-year-old coming out right now.
And con Eric, I don't remember who the other trumpet player was. Wendy, John, Naomi, Melissa, en ese grupo. And during that time, I think we accompanied Beatriz Adriana. That was the first time ever experiencing something that I learned, with voice lessons. The song is in B flat or in A. I don't remember the name of the song, but it was a joropo, which kind of made it easier because you had 1/8 note, to change the chord, right? The upbeat of the 3.
Yeah.
She wanted it in C sharp.
Uh-oh.
And then we accompanied. Yeah, later on with Tamasula, we had, Celeste was in the group, and Valdemar. They're now married. Mi compadre Victor. ¿Quién más está en el grupo? Rafa Alarcón. El Ralph. He was in the group también. ¿Quién más? And then that group, we ended up accompanying Celeste and Vargas Extravaganza.
Mhm.
Not Vargas Extravaganza, the Vargas show in Corpus, but by the same people, esta Muñoz y Sandra.
When did you decide to go to the valley?
Tamasula was 2011, 2012. My aunt passed away in 2013, and I felt that I needed a change of pace to get, because I stopped playing for, I don't know, maybe like 2-3 years. I didn't play. I was depressed because of my tia. And although within that depression, good things still happen, I was asked to be the musical director for a play called Mariachi Girl. And it ran at Dallas Children's Theater for a month. And really, honestly, that's what saved me. And I met somebody from the Valley. I don't remember the person's name right now. I met somebody from the Valley, and it was kind of like the little push, that the universe gives you. Anyway, you should probably look into going to the Valley to play mariachi. Do it right over there. And so as the whole time I was doing the play, rehearsing. So I lived here in Austin, and they would fly me to Dallas, for rehearsals on the weekends.
Wow.
There was one week that I was there completely the whole time for the initial rehearsal, and then after that, it was, there was different call times for every section or every actor, including the mariachi was an ensemble, so it was its own actor. But that was very fun, getting to experience mariachi in a different light, literally. And I had a lot of hair back then, so you couldn't see me. You couldn't read my thoughts.
That's fun.
It was an experience, and at the end of it all, I composed some music for it because the director was saying, we have to do stage changes. Can the mariachi record something or play something? Oh, it depends if the mariachi is going to be on stage. So every single stage change had music to it, and I timed what it was, and I composed melodies as pertaining to the certain situation that was happening before, going to the next. It was an experience. It was a great experience. We ended up getting best music. There's an awards thing in Dallas for the theater world. We ended up getting best music, and they got the production as a whole got best production.
Wow.
That was fun to be acknowledged like that, and it was the first time out.
Yeah.
And to be recognized for the work. Shortly after that, it was like a year later, I worked with Robert Casillas and this, ¿cómo se llamaba? El del Paso. I can't remember his name. I have him on Facebook. He's an actor, but he was a charro. But now he's like a full-time actor. That's his thing. He was a charro in El Paso. Got the audition for Esperanza Rising.
Oh, yeah.
And we got nominated for Best Music. We didn't win, but we got nominated. But everybody who was involved in that award show said we should have gotten it because we were singing Era guitarrón, vihuela, y violín. And we were singing in 3 parts the whole time. Kind of like similar to what este Isra and Vincent and Carlton hicieron in, pero not in a grand scale like that. The Grand Opry, like that's mis respetos, right? But it was something, little songs por ahí, pero it was a fun experience también. The whole production, and you don't know this, but they wash the costumes every day from theater performances. Every day los lavan. And then there's somebody in charge of all that. So our traje would get cleaned. It would get dry cleaned every day. And it's like, hold on, like, this is nice, going back to the Vegas thing, being treated like como un rey, ¿verdad? And then going into the theater, like, oh, there's food here, guys, arránquense, si quieren comer, aquí hay comida. He says, cabrón, I want a snack.
Yeah.
12. ¿Qué más? So then I started getting into theater stuff before I moved to the Valley. Excuse me. Then when I moved to the Valley, it was an experience. Definitely, even though I'm from the border, right? We can all agree that it's a different culture,
Yeah, it is.
It's a different culture than Laredo. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of pushback.
they really got to change the area code.
Yeah.
For Laredo.
Yeah.
Can't have that.
Yeah. Every time, you know what really grinds my gears? That people are trying to make a podcast called Grinds My Gears. Pero they would always say when I got here to Austin or San Marcos, San Antonio, oh, you're from the Valley. No way, I'm from Laredo. The Valley está, 80 miles that way. Y ahí está. Yeah. In the Valley, pues I got to, pues with Juvenil, we got to do the Ballet Folklorico shows.
Yeah.
Prior to that, I had only played for a Ballet Folklorico one song. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it was in Laredo. Entonces, being able to experience the cuadros full on in its entirety, like sones back to back to back to back. 4 sones, right? Y en chingas. Ya ni me acuerdo cuáles sones eran. Pero lo que sí me acuerdo que I had to make sure I had to stretch before.
Yeah.
The young guys, Rogelio, Luis, Alejandra, they didn't have to stretch.
Yeah.
Just playing.
They were just playing. Yo estoy así como haciendo yoga. Rogelio, bien lo adoro el cabrón. Siempre decía, hey, what are you doing that for? It's like, es que, I need to stretch, bro.
Uh-huh.
Pinche viejito. That was a good time. And I got to play with, did a couple of things with Siete Leguas, and I never got to play with Arrieros, but they would always call me, pero siempre estaba ocupado. But I played with Continental, de Héctor Guerra. Héctor Guerra went to Kingsville, and he was instrumental with the first mariachi conferences that happened here in San Antonio, or there in San Antonio, ¿verdad? And it was an experience playing with him, porque in the late 80s, early 90s, the way he would make his mariachi is kind of similar to what, like Beto, Eugenio do, in the sense that que traen a gente de Mexico, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
So he was the first one that I know of. I don't know of the guys before here in Austin and San Antonio. He was the first one that would get people he had so many connections. He still has that he would get guys from Mexico, bring them over, he would get them the papers, and eventually it would lead them to citizenship. Y de ahí salieron todos los mariachis from him doing that. Porque de pronto, pues I want to be jefe. I want to be jefe. I think I can be jefe. Ya sabes la onda. So así salieron todos los mariachis. And we're talking about the guys que son cuarentón and above, 45 and above. But it was fun hearing his stories, listening to records with him. Nice record collection. Vargas when it wasn't Vargas, Apaches and Heriberto Aceves. He had the two of the Galleros albums, like LPs, y estamos ahí, conviviendo un poquito. It was very interesting man que me tocó en el camino. And ironically, he was the vihuela teacher de mi band director. So it's kind of like, so here I am. I'm from Laredo. I get taught by Sosa, is his last name. I go to San Marcos, Las Vegas, Dallas, Austin. Then I come back to the Valley, and I end up playing with my band director's teacher. That's
came full circle.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
But it was an experience meeting a bunch of people. I met so many people que se me olvidan los nombres. So going back to what we were saying before, like being a new person, being bombarded with, different people. Dices, siempre, it always happens that people say, "Oh, you remember me?" But it's not. I don't do it intentional.
Right.
Es porque at that time being bombarded with a lot of new people, new faces, new names, new customs, entonces kind of messes with you.
Yeah. But you spent a couple years there with Aslan in the Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And were you finishing degree or?
Mm-hmm. I was going to school, Mexican American. Of course, if you couldn't tell, Mexican American studies. It's just a real passion for me, knowing that unknown history.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So if anybody wants to borrow any books, hit me up.
We gotta have Julian for one of the episodes.
Yeah.
Did you check out the latest thing?
The latest thing
that came out, Legends of Mariachi.
Oh yeah. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched a little bit of it because I had to get back to playing Assassin's Creed. But I watched it and I liked it.
It's a legit reason,
man. We plan to do every big artist you can think of.
Arre, cuando quieran, man. Listo.
Go check out Legends of Mariachi.
Yeah.
Legends of Mariachi, guys.
Do it.
Do it
Come
now.
on, guys.
Now. And so after, a couple years, you decided to come back to Austin?
Pues I was working in the Valley también, right? I was an Armonía private lesson instructor. And it was fun, It wasn't my first teaching gig, but it was fun just going in, working with the Armonía.
Yeah. What school did you work with?
Edinburgh North,
okay.
Robert Villa High, Sherryland Pioneer, for a brief moment in time, Los Fresnos, because there wasn't enough feria. And at one point, I was trying to get lured by McAllen High School.
They try to get everybody.
Pero that's how I met. I think the only person that I taught que está aquí is Noah.
No,
shout out to Noah
from UT.
Oh, Galloso.
Edinburgh North.
Mm-hmm.
Good guy.
He was And I remember the first time. No, if you're listening, I'm gonna tell you your origin story. El vato llegó and he was playing. He was in the mariachi con one of the guys from Siete Leguas. Ya se me, Sherryland High School. Whoever's there. Ya se me olvidó cómo se llama el señor. O no señor. He's my age. Cabrón.
Martin.
I'm a señor.
You're a senor.
The director for
Sherryland.
The only name that comes to my head is Martin.
No, Martin está en La Joya.
La Joya. Yeah, Sherry. Oh, yeah, I know who.
Charlie.
Charlie. That's the harp player.
Estaba tocando. He was going to high school for the first 2 years with Charlie. Y luego se vino para North con Acuña. And, excuse me. Y de volada, he was trying to flex on me. Yes, Noah. Yes, you did. Y estaba tratando. And le dije, oh, okay, bro. Está bueno. All right. Now play that, pero toca con esto, con el metronome. Y luego, sí estaba con el metronome, pero no estaba. Dije, sí, bro. All the sentimiento you're putting it, está bien. Pero primero, you have to align it up. And then, after that, whatever the flow is, whatever the groove is, entonces ya le puedes agregar. Pero you don't know what the groove is because you don't know what the violins or the trumpets, the voice is giving you. Entonces ahí te tienes que sacar because you're not going to play it the same way every time porque the violins, they're going to listen to the first and depending on what they feel, the trumpets también, they're going to listen to the first chair depending on what they feel at that moment and that exact same time. ¿Verdad? It's very subjective to every time. Like, the song is not going to be the same. It's going to be very different. Unless you're gun-ho about saying, and I'm going to sing it like this, I'm going to play it like this every time. So I worked with him for 2 years, and he was the greatest leader. Porque I would give him a task, and he would come back and se la sabían todo. He was aggressive. He was ruthless when it came down to playing. He was passionate. All of those kids at North. It was not that I'm saying that Vela or Edinburgh High didn't have that passion, nor Los Fresnos. Pero those kids were, from that particular school, were something special. All they wanted to do was play strum for strum and sound good. And not beat the armonía instruments to where there's no chord. Shots fired. If you're si te queda el saco, pues I'm sorry. Not ustedes, by the way.
Yeah, that's the Valley style of playing. It's very different. Israel talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
How it's kind of structured, rhythmic, but also it's Solo Mexico is a big influence in the Valley. Everybody listens to them. People do arrangements by them, so people try to copy that style a lot. And when I was,
no, and it's again, it's all of this. And one thing that Israel, because I heard Israel's podcast, one thing that he said that he encountered, or maybe I'm interpreting it wrong. De que gente dice, así va. And no, it's subjective. Completely no, era de Joe Baca. All of it is subjective. You know, you don't have to play it the same way every time. You know, con que lo más, el sentido depends on how you feel that day, right? Y aquellos in the Valley, like, it's always rough and toughy. You know, but it really is subjective.
Yeah, you don't really. Who is that?
I don't know.
Is that yours? Oh.
Wake up.
No, I get random calls from random numbers all day, and it's really annoying.
Dude, that was happening to me literally, like, back to back to back to back. I had to put on do not disturb.
Yo nomás le pongo. I'll go back to the numbers and I'll just say block them.
Yeah, but they always call from different numbers. It's frustrating. Damn.
Um, that's it. Chill. But one thing that I when I went back to the valley in I went back to the valley twice these past 6 years. The first time was 2016, the fall of 2016, and I helped out the row Armonia a little bit, row high school there in McAllen, and then I went back in 2020, spring of 2020, and I was there working with them every week, a couple times a week, but then everything shut down. But they're good players, and I think this happens in the valley a lot, that they know how to play the instrument, but they don't know anything about how why they're doing it, why you doing that accent there, or I would show them certain things that tell them to accent certain spots in like sonas, and they'll be like, why? It's no difference. I'm like, well, listen to the voice, because the voice is doing the same articulation in that exact moment, along with the trumpet. And when everything like that matches together, it's gonna sound a lot different. But some of these kids they're just like, I don't hear it.
I mean, cada quien, everybody has a different ear.
Yeah.
Some people you have to spoon feed that, and then they'll get it. And some people are just have a natural feel for it.
Mm-hmm. But that's one thing I noticed when kids from the valley come over here to play. And I mean, when I came, I didn't know anything. I knew my nice show tunes and like Hermoso Cariño and El Rey, the only standards we play. Other than that, we played fucking like Huapango de Moncayo or Mi Jalisco and all these Solo Mexico stuff. So I came here, I didn't know anything. Yeah. And I had to learn. And I did, but there's some people that come from the valley that they just they can't do it, or they kind of quit. And I've seen that with, who talked about that a bit was Adolf, when he had some kid from Roma.
See, I remember him. I can't remember his name. Violin.
Yeah, and he just couldn't hang and quit.
Yeah, I think it was in the El Mismo Día de la Chamba. I think he just said he played Azul Tequila, and then I remember because we picked him up. Yo estaba con Adolf because we met at Azul Tequila, and dijo no, ya. No, I'm sorry, you came all the way, pero no, yo no quiero tocar. No quiero trabajar en mariachi.
Bro.
He was at Texas State?
UT. Pero Adolf enojadísimo. I remember he was mad, bro. Pato, I came all the way over here to pick him up, Pato, and this is not on the way to the gig, blah, blah, blah. I was like, hey, wait, don't get mad at me. I'm in the car. I'm going to the chamba.
Like, why don't you play violin?
Yeah. It's different.
But I mean, you made your way back to Austin, after you teaching gigs, and didn't you work at, I don't know if you still work there, like at Verizon?
Sprint.
A Sprint?
Yeah.
You're still working at Sprint?
No.
You're like, nope.
No, yeah. When the merger happened, dejaron mucha gente ir.
And then so you had to play full time again, or?
Sí. At that point, sí, pero they gave me unemployment, so it was not a big deal.
And now you're playing, basically, full time.
I'm playing full time ahorita, just for now. I've been applying to other places.
Are you trying to be a teacher again?
Well, where I want to actually be, I want to be either at the Bullock Museum as an education coordinator, which they're the guys that they have there now. Pues, they're lifers, no se van a salir.
Yeah.
Or the Texas, the library next to the Capitol. Pero también lifers, no se van a salir ninguno. Yeah. Or Texas Folk Life. Those are, I love history. I love our history in particular because it's a history that's not talked about.
That's true.
So yes, music is beautiful, and yes, we're doing a great thing, but at the same time, we gotta know why. the why.
Why? Yeah.
Yeah. It's important, right, Matt?
Yeah, when I joined Adolf, I do things, and he's always testing me, whether if it's playing wise or knowledge wise, And he's always asking me, well, what do we do here? And I'm like, well, we do this, or whatever. He's like, well, why? Why are we doing that? I never knew the why. I never knew. My teachers, including him, would say, at times though he would, explain everything, but I never knew the why. For example, Serenata Huasteca, people do the whole Huapango, rhythm, but he's like, you're not playing the Huasteco. It's a Huasteco, so you gotta play it as it is, This is why, we do this. He's always explaining. So it's one thing I never, I'm learning the why right now, playing alongside him right now.
Yeah, El Vato estaban chingos for not knowing Spanish.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't speaking Spanish in a proficient way. El Vato te sabe la historia de cada cosa and why.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Yeah. Man, so and I learned from all you guys, man. Like Adolf calls you the other Armonia master, and I picked things from you and him, and I can definitely see like the similarities too, but also the differences. It's pretty neat. So being like all right, what'd you say, a percussion player? You tie a lot of those techniques and things and rhythms.
A lot of those ideas, a lot of the things that I do are from that. Dynamics. If you can play soft and still articulate, let's say if you had to give it a dynamic level, if you can play pianissimo, what you would normally play in mezzo forte, you're only going to make yourself stronger. Drum lines do that all the time. So a lot of my ideas come from drumline. And I listen to a lot of drumline videos to get more ideas. They really got to flourish a lot more because I used to work in Round Rock, but I was like everything, right? So I really couldn't really focus on armonía as much. But when I went to the Valley and I had to teach these kids, I can't just go dun taka ta taka ta taka ta taka ta. Like I had to break it down, and the breaking down of in a drumline way is what really helped them get proficient.
It's crazy, dude, because you're not the, I would say, I guess, percussion influenced vihuela player that I've kind of helped me or mentor me in any sort of way. It was Adrian Brijalba was the first one. A lot of his ideas he would throw in there.
We're all bald.
that's another thing I noticed, man. That's crazy, but
I see you, Matt.
he was the first bald vihuela percussion.
I'm starting to push harder on violin because I don't want to get bald.
I started leaning more towards
bro, you got like ape hair, bro. Like you have a thick mound on your head. And before we leave, I'm gonna have to touch your head. No te quiero hacer ojos.
Yeah, his hairline's almost touching his eyebrow, bro.
Bro, que celos, man.
Yeah, that's a good set of hair.
Both my mom and dad. My dad now is late 50s and has more hair than I do.
Yeah, that's crazy. A lot of hair.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lose my hair, but I might get fat.
Nah, we both gotta break that trend, man. I don't know how it's going for me so far. Anyways.
Hola, cabrón.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
You gotta be a master vihuela player or 5'10".
It's a hard choice, man.
Or a what?
Or 5'10".
5'10". Oh,
it's a hard choice, man.
That's mean, bro.
No, I don't give a fuck, man.
Your high school.
I don't give a fuck. I'm just. Anyways,
the taller you are, the better people think you are.
Dude, one time Joe Frank's like, one time. One time Joe Frank told me, he's like, either you're fat and you're really good at mariachi, or you suck at mariachi and you're real fit. He goes, so in a couple of years, you're gonna end up. He was pointing out somebody else fat. He's like, you end up like him, dude. Fuck you, dude. I'm gonna break that trend. I'm gonna break it, your friend.
Pedro's trying to break that trend from No Te Carilan.
He's working out, right?
Workout videos.
Yeah.
And he's gotten pretty.
He's swole, yeah.
Every day he's just posting workout videos and
Hola.
he's getting
His
all of
Instagram
No Te
pics,
Carilan.
dude. He's fucking flexing and shit. Like, dang,
Getting big.
That's what that's JM's his idol, man. That's what he's trying to do now too. What he's maybe that's why he got surgery. He got some.
Maybe he got lap band, bro. He got lap band.
Yeah, dude.
Si la gente no conocen a JM, el vato está flaco, pero he thinks he's fat. Este vato.
Yeah, yeah.
This isn't the 90s where you're not a 90s girl.
Anyways, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, so you're not the first percussion vihuela, but it's interesting. One thing I had trouble with for the longest time, and you guys were talking about it, is just beating the hell out of your instrument. And I had trouble bringing out the sound of my vihuela, and it led to me. Long story short, led to me destroying my strings all the time and my instrument, tearing through the mica. And I'm wondering, I'm like, dude, I can't get any sound out of this instrument. Like, why? And it wasn't, and Adrian would tell me too at times. I just didn't understand until you really kind of broke it down for me. You compared it to the timpani.
Timpani.
And it was then I started really kind of understanding that concept. And it's gotten better, and it's led to me being more relaxed too. That was another thing. More relaxed, and the sound, it comes a lot easier now. Let me see.
That whole idea of beating the instrument, it didn't come from me. It came from El Pato. We were back, in the 2000s, pre-2012, right? No era la pareja de Pato all the time. Like, I was maybe pareja 3 times, maybe, if that. Pero me acuerdo que entró an older charro, que he was teaching also. I don't remember what year it was. And he's showing, I think we were doing Las Olas or El Pasajero, one of those sones abajeños for the workshops. Y estaba repasando conmigo, and I was in guitar and he was on vihuela. And he's like, beating into me, like, no, cabrón, otra vez. No, cabrón, otra vez. And I'm like, este güey, like, ni te conozco y me andas echando madres. Okay, whatever. But I accepted it, ¿verdad? And then all of a sudden, he just puts his hand on my strings. And he looks over my shoulder. He said, hey, tú, ven. And it was another maestro. He said, oyes, ¿con qué tocas? ¿Con cuchillos o qué? La tapa está todo jodida que trae. Like, he's just ripping into him, like, y el vato todo agüitado, like, just walks away. Just left the room. He was supposed to be in the room with us. And he walked away. And then he, without missing a beat, he turns around to me. Órale, del principio. Cabrón. He was
rough, huh?
He was mean. But that's where the idea of beating the instrument came. Of not beating it, ¿verdad? From him. Man, y'all have it so easy, The younger generation. Ustedes, ¿verdad? I don't even know if this would be like a second generation, ¿verdad? Because I was born in 82. Ustedes, me imagino,
97,
96. That's not a full generation cycle.
Yeah.
Pero, the technology age of, pues I want to study. I want to study somebody playing. You just turn on you go on your phone, YouTube.
Vihuela TV.
Y luego, Vihuela TV. Or just random mariachi videos que encuentras de single
Castillo.
guys, Raúl Castillo, or de grupos, right? Pero back then, Sosa, when we would go to McAllen or we would go to San Antonio, the armonía had to have a notepad. Everybody had a notepad. And we would take notes. What we liked about the person that we were watching.
Oh, okay.
So that's something, every concert that I went to, from 94 and on, up until YouTube started being popular. I think what 2010 when it started.
It was mid this 2006.
Comparing techniques. In 2006, you couldn't really. No había gente uploading videos. ¿Verdad?
Yeah.
Like the way they do now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're comparing and the contrasting of the different, the way people move their hands, and tenías que ir a los conciertos. There was no other way around it. O si ibas a chambear con alguien. So I went to a lot of concerts throughout the years. Con Sol, con de Vargas, even going to an Albuquerque in high school. My brain exploded at that point. But that's the only way you could see it. Y ahorita, because I can just compare my technique to somebody else. And ahí está.
That's true. But even me doing so, what that led me to do was try and be somebody else. Play exactly like somebody. I would see, for example, Tony Zuniga. And I see him, and I would try to imitate that style. And it wasn't until actually me seeing him in person, playing right next to him, like in a jam session at Albuquerque. It wasn't until then where I realized it's impossible. Yeah. Like I can't copy somebody.
We all play vihuela. We all play guitar. We all play guitarrón. But our interpretation is subjective to what we've lived, what we've experienced,
right?
What we've practiced. So your ideas are gonna be mine, different than mine. Igual.
Yeah.
Igual. No son lo mismo. If we were all the same, we'd be bored. We'd be boring.
Yeah. That's true.
Por eso, little mariachi history, I would say. El Vargas, Pepe Villa gets out, Mexico, Mariachi Mexico, and then they're recording albums like crazy, de sones. And they're both different way of interpreting that same song.
Yeah.
But it goes down to que vivieron, que se sabe. Cada persona es diferente. That's why even here, los grupos, like the group I play with, sounds way different than Relámpago. Clásico sounds different than Relámpago. Capital sounds and it's the same area. Pero es que depende, compadres. Am I missing anybody? If I'm missing you, I'm sorry. You can peel it. Pero, but cada grupo tiene sus ondas. And it just depends on your personnel, what they've lived, what they've experienced. There's no right or wrong way to do it. If you want to play like Tony, pues dale gas.
Yeah.
Pero be Matt.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can learn, by watching somebody, and it's physically impossible to be them. But sure, imitate somebody, but have a little of your own style and
everybody different.
Yeah. I didn't quite understand that, man. And I'm sitting here watching Tony coming in, and it came back full circle to not being the hell out of your instrument. I'm watching this guy like, dude, he's just so chill, barely moving his hand. Like, how is he playing this song and getting so clean, like that badass sound out of that vihuela? And it clicked, play the vihuela. Don't try to beat the hell out of it,
Es lo bonito that here we are. Like, yes, this is a mariachi podcast, right?
Yeah.
Pero we're all armonía, and we're here discussing armonía things.
Yeah.
Sorry, Melodias.
Sorry.
Y'all can peel it.
Everybody should know armonía anyway.
There's a reason why I stopped playing violin, man. I'm sorry. But no.
Armonías are cooler.
Yeah, it is. It's too labor intensive, I don't know about you guys. Y'all probably haven't experienced this, but I'm starting to feel like I have to stretch before every gig, even if we played in like an hour. Going to the next gig, I have to make sure I stretch my arms porque
I stretch. I do hand stretches and stuff. That's about it.
I'm
Alexis?
perfect. No, it's just only when we have like 6 hours and I'm on guitarron.
Oh,
And I'm like,
cabrón.
oh shit. In my
I can't
head-
even last one song on guitar.
in my head by the end of the night. I just start doing the higher octaves at that point.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I can't play. I started playing mesas. I'll start playing with my left hand. I'll start doing like pull-offs.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking guitarron because my thumbs all exploded.
Did you learn that from Adolf or what?
No. I don't learn that
He does that a lot, dude.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It's funny. I laugh. He's like, look. Bah. Pop the A.
Yeah. Yeah, that's. I forgot that he does that.
Yeah, he likes it.
That's
Eli
very
does it.
cool, Yeah.
Eli does it too, but real good, man. He's
It sounds like he's actually using his right hand when
Uh-huh.
he's using his left.
Yeah.
Este vato.
There's
those masters.
some great players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're getting towards the end of this Harmonia episode.
Harmonia clinic.
Yeah, that's why we had Julian come on. Just talk
Dang.
about Harmonia. So it is now you said you're playing full time basically, and trying to get into those other jobs. That's just kind of where you're at now. Those are your plans.
Those are my long-term goals. To be working some sort of education when it comes to Mexican American studies in the public, not in like a high school or anything like that. Mexican American Culture Center would be a great, pero también son lifers ahí,
Yeah.
So it's like really waiting and applying at the right time.
Yeah.
Though I feel that mariachis aren't really. There's not a lot of them at the Mexican American Culture Center. That events that it's always conjunto music. They're always relying on conjunto, but mariachi is just as important. Yes, of course, Manuel Cowboy Don Lee is from the Montopolis kid. Of course, we love him to death. Pero a la misma vez, it's like there's a lot of other people. El Z Castro that was coming up, El Babo Jardo that was coming up, in that time of Austin. And es importante, to have a chronology of that history, of that Austin history.
Yeah.
Porque it's just as important because we wouldn't be sitting in this room right now had it not been for those people.
Yeah.
True.
So we gotta represent our elders. Honor them,
Mhm. Yeah, I mean that's the point of all of this to keep it going, give it some new light, or to give some people to look back and see what what it was like. But this has been fun.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
No, thank you guys for inviting me. So y'all are taking me to Whataburger afterwards, right?
It's been a while since I
Oh,
had
wait a
one.
minute.
Sponsor.
Yeah, they're from Chicago now. They can peel it too.
They're sold. They're sold. Matt likes In-N-Out, so
Fuck yeah, man. Hell yeah, dude. I
Oh,
love
he
it,
just
that,
stared.
bro.
I was like,
Nah, y'all can go
I
peel
was-
it, man.
I was actually I was gonna say a joke, but I'm not. We're gonna keep it PG right now. It's the
Sort
ending.
of, man. I've heard worse.
but we'll take you to Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh man,
It's
Peter
down the
Piper,
road.
mejor. Peter Piper.
Peter Piper.
Oh, Peter Piper's over here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We have to go to New Braunfels.
New
bro.
Braunfels,
I'm
yeah.
down.
Damn, that's worth it.
Pistol Pete's. Y'all remember Pistol Pete's?
I never
Actually,
went.
no, I've never had it.
No.
No.
Oh, dude, that was a pizza chain back. It was pre Peter Piper.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was good.
I'm all about that Mods pizza now, bro.
Oh, bro. What?
I had it the other day for the first time. It was good. Anyways.
Anyways.
I want to thank everybody for listening, and go check out the latest
New
episode,
project.
Legends of Mariachi, Jose Alfredo Jimenez.
Sí, señor. What songs did y'all do on that?
We did El Rey,
Mm-hmm.
Ella,
Mm-hmm.
Paloma Querida, Si Nos Dejan, and Caminos de Guanajuato.
Las Buenas, yeah.
Yeah, and it came out, it came out good.
Yeah, it was
It's
interesting.
a lot of work, but it's coming along.
Arre. Very good guys que están haciendo eso, to testimonios. This is a testimonio, a testimonial of an older charro, not that much older. So, and then you guys doing that other side project, that's very important, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And it's being put on YouTube, so then other people can see it, and other people can see that, this is important, just as important. So, felicidades, guys.
Thanks, man.
This has been episode 5 of Los Mariachi Sagas. I want to thank Julian for being our guest and for showing up.
We'll see you guys.
And we'll see you guys later.
Come on, guys.